Welcome to another lesson where we'll learn how to run only one workflow at a time. Let's create a new workflow and demonstrate what we're talking about right here and now, step by step. I'm specifically naming my workflow concurrency because that's the name of the parameter we'll definitely need to use. I'm going to use the code from the previous lesson as a practical example, as demo data. So I'm basically going to run this with workflow dispatch, which actually means I can trigger it manually, and I'll set a timeout of 50 seconds. So approximately 50 seconds for the step to fully and successfully execute. So right now I just want to commit this and demonstrate what problem we encounter first. Let's go to Actions. We'll disable concurrency because that's not ours. It's from the previous lesson. Let's disable it completely altogether. Test timeout. That's the specific one that has started. Let's go back to the Actions and open the concurrency testing. This is our particular section of the workflow process that we have just recently created. I aggressively left it on manual start to try to start it a few times. So I'm just running it once, running it a second time, running it a third time, and let's go for a fourth time. And as you can see, the same workflow is being triggered. Let's even go into it. It's running 4 times, and all 4. The instructions are being executed in parallel, but logically, that's not right. Why do we need to run the same thing 4 times? To limit this, we pass the concurrency parameter, which will help determine that only one workflow can run at a given time. Until it finishes, all the others won't start. Let's go back to our code. You can set concurrency at the workflow level, and it will monitor the entire workflow, or at the job level, because sometimes there's a task where only the job needs to be limited. I'm going to set concurrency at the level of the entire workflow. So we just pass the key concurrency and specify it. Let's start by not using any parameters and just specify the ID. The idea here is that we have a certain workflow and we need to assign an ID to it. This way, GitHub Actions will check if another workflow with the same ID is running or not. So, if our file is named concurrency, we can use that name as the ID. Like this, we can dynamically create these IDs for concurrency. This need often arises as well. So you are free to choose the ID for concurrency yourself. Let's go ahead and run it now and see what's happening. Let's go into the actions. Nothing is starting for us because we have concurrency running. And let's just run it a few more times and see what happens. Second, third, maybe a fourth one. And notice what's happening here. I'll go in one more time to load all 4. Only one is running. Next, all subsequent ones get cancelled, except for the last one. The last one goes into a waiting status, and it's waiting for the first one to finish before it starts running. If I add a 5th one now, then this last one will get skipped, and the new last one will go into a waiting status. So, the current concurrency parameter allows the first one that was launched to run, and the last one from the whole list, which has also already been started, goes into a waiting status. If I add a 5th one now, then this last one will get skipped, and the last one will go into a waiting status. So, the current concurrency parameter allows the first one that was launched to run, and the last one from the whole list, which has also already been started, goes into a waiting status. But logically, we would essentially want the last one to run, while all the others get cancelled simultaneously. So we can set this up too. To do this, we pass an additional parameter, cancel in progress. But to pass concurrency with an additional parameter, we need to move it a bit lower and pass it as a group. So, this is nothing more than our workflow group. We set an ID for the group. If we only have a group, we write it like this. But if we want to pass an additional parameter, like cancel in progress, then we need to specify the group as a separate property. So let's write cancel in progress and set it to true. Essentially, this value of true, which is significant, will effectively invalidate all of the previous ones and will only execute the very last one. We're committing in a new way. Let's move on and take a look. We're going into the actions, and right now the last one is running. There it goes. It finally finished. So let's run it again. I'm starting the first one, starting it again, starting it one more time. And let's do the fourth one as a tradition since we've decided to. And I'm going into concurrency testing. And notice what's happening here. Well, you've already seen it. Cancelled, 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 and only the last one is starting. The principle is very simple. We set the ID so that it understands that this workflow is tied to the current ID. And if there's any other concurrency in the stream with that ID, then according to the condition, we disable it and only run the last one.